If you like to talk about combat sports and you want to join the discussion, click the subscribe button below and the bell notification icon next to it and join Knucklehead Nation.
Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, I am here with CEO of Fightersrep, George Francis. What's up, Francis?
What's going on, brother? How are you, man?
Good, how are you?
Good. You know, just relaxing after a very busy weekend of fights. We had our fights, Fightersrep 8, and you were there.
I was there.
And it was a good card.
It was a good card. I agree.
You do? Okay, good.
I thought you were gonna say it was hectic. Was it hectic?
You know, it was. Every fight card is hectic, but it was a good hectic. I had a lot of fun with this show. This show was one of the hardest to match, I think, because of back to school and whatnot. And it was just hard to get people to get on board. And then all of a sudden, like, all these people started coming out of the woodworks. A lot of camps we'd never worked with before accepted fights. And I thought it was a good thing because, you know, we wouldn't have reached out to all these different camps had it not been so difficult at first to put this show together. But it came together. You know, what did you think about the show?
I thought it was, you said it was, everything happened in such a short amount of time. You had a short amount of time to, you know, get fighters, do everything you had to do. But
yeah, we had a month and 3 weeks.
Considering that, you know, it was a great show, I think.
We didn't even do, it wasn't even 2 months since the last show. So I was a little, like, you know, pressed for time. I was like, we're going to get this off. But I also wanted to kind of test us out, you know, test our system out. See, can we put the show together in less than 2 months? And mission accomplished, you know. And I think the coolest part about it was the fact that Anderson Silva showed up to support his son, Gabriel Silva. It was really cool having the GOAT in the building for Fightersrep. So that was a big win for me, man. That was a big win for all of us, I think, in the community, you know. So
would you say, you know, you just said everything happened in such a short amount of time and you were able to pull it off. Would you prefer to do that every time, or do you want to, you know, have more time?
I think having more time is better. You know, it just gives us more time to prepare and put together a cleaner show. Not that the show wasn't clean, you know. I thought everything went smoothly, but it was just the combination of the short amount of time that we had, plus the back to school stuff. You know, a lot of guys weren't available because they were studying or going back to school or whatever. At least a lot of the serious guys. You know, we had a ton of flakes and wannabes hitting us up on social media to fight that would accept the fight and then back out within 15 minutes. I mean, absolutely hilarious. And, you know, I definitely won't forget a single one of those names if they hit me up again. Yeah, and then at weigh-in, we had one of the guys that was going to be in the main event get hurt the night before. I find out basically the morning of weigh-in. And then 2 guys don't even show up to weigh-in. And one of them, you know, says he got into an accident or something and says he can show up late. So I say, you know, by all means, I mean, I'll make it happen for you. And then just non-responsive. And I tell him, look, man, if you don't want to fight, don't fight, you know. It's just, but it's kind of ridiculous to, you know, not show up to weigh-in after accepting a fight. So, you know, they're not going to just have to deal with the bridge they burned with me. I mean, that's the least of their worries. People like that, the sanctioning bodies deal with them. They will suspend you. So, nothing to do with me even. They will suspend you. You know, if you're taking fights and you're dropping out at weigh-in, you've basically killed your career with that sanctioning body. Good luck. You know, I've said this before. You know, we talked about this last time. sort of, when I was telling you about Yadir Perez, the one who got the knockout. Remember I told you that's why you got to stay committed. That's why when you make a commitment, stick to it. Yadir made the commitment. He was not sure if he was going to fight. I told him, stick to your commitment. See it through. See it through. He saw it through and he got a quick knockout in that fight. Spectacular knockout of the night at Fightersrep 6 or 7.
It was 6.
6. You know better than I do. And but when guys, sign up to fight, the promoter prepares for the fight. At least for me, I prepare pictures, I may do video, I may send out somebody to go interview them, such as yourself. When people sign up to fight, it's not just me that spent time and resources and money on these people. It's their opponent. It's their opponent's coaches. Their opponent is weight cutting up until the day of weigh-in. You want to back out the day of weigh-in? Your opponent is starving. He's sold tickets. People want to come watch him fight. They think he's going to fight. It takes a level of sociopathy. You know what that is? Lack of empathy. It takes someone who with no conscience to do that in the fight game to another person. I don't care. I had 14 fights. But it's just, this is something that's happening in the fight game that needs to be addressed. And that's why I'm talking about it here. This is a great place to do it. These flakes and these wannabes that put real fighters through this entire rigmarole where they got to lose weight and train and spend money and spend time and be away from their family and put their coach through whatnot and their family through whatever. And then they get to weigh in and the opponent doesn't even have the courtesy to give someone a phone call, let them know they're not going to show up. It's a joke, my man. It's a joke.
So one of the fights that fell through was
I don't even want to
actually the main event.
But the main event didn't fall through because he's a flake. He fell through because he got hurt. The other fights that fell through, it was flakiness.
No, to go more in depth with that, one of the fights that fell through was the main event.
The main event, unfortunately, and what sucks is, so the one that didn't fall out, the one that didn't get hurt was Johnny Jackson, and apparently, he's lost out on 3 fights in a row now, where, I don't know, his opponents either got hurt or flaked or whatever happened, but he's signed up, I think, for 3 or 4 fights in a row now, and it hasn't gone through. So he's really, I told him, dude, just come to the fight. Here's a ticket. Just show up, It's sort of my way to try to make it up to him. But it's unfortunate, It's unfortunate.
So that fight fell through, but what did you think about the main event?
Okay. So here's another thing I want to talk about, and I think this is important that people understand this about Fightersrep and about me and about our company, because you're part of this too, and I think you agree with this mentality or ideology that we follow at Fightersrep. So I don't care if somebody wins or loses. I don't care if you fight for me and you win or lose. And that can't come off more genuine than that, right? I don't care. I care that somebody comes to fight, wants to fight and wants to be a fighter. I care that someone's respectful and responsible with their tickets and their waiver. That's all it is. And they're physical. To fight for us and with the IKF, you need a physical. That's it. You don't even need blood work with the IKF. They don't require it. They only require a physical. You need a physical. You need to handle your own tickets. And you need to sign a release. And everything is 1 page. Each document is 1 page long. It's nothing. And some people still mess it up somehow. I don't know. It's human error, I guess. But I'm glad we're talking about this because bringing it back to the main event, Khosrov Sadarov versus Denis Archila. I put Khosrov as the main event, and it's just his second fight. And the reason I did that is because guys like Khosrov, guys like Denis Kovalev, these kids on my card, guys like Eugene Chuko Provencio, Edgar Barbary, You know, Gabriel Silva. You know, all these kids like this, they want to fight. They don't want to BS. They're not going to BS you. They're not going to back out at the weigh-in. They're not going to fake a car accident, send you a picture of Google images of some car that got broken down. I swear to God, it's happened to me before. And it happened recently. These guys want to fight. And I don't know many people that want to fight as much as these guys. So when Khosrow Sadarov, you know, what I saw from him was a lot of talent in the first fight. And, you know, he had to sit out the last one because he was hurt. But despite having, like, a pretty severe injury, he still wanted to fight. I had to tell him, no, you can't fight. I had to tell him, no, you cannot fight. You're going to permanently injure yourself. So he waited, he healed, and then he came back for this fight. But just his sheer desire, the ganas that he had to fight, forced me to put this guy as the main event. And I was going to maybe do Silva versus Kovalev. And they both want to fight, but nobody to me wanted it as bad as Khosrow. Nobody wanted to fight as bad as Khosrow. Nobody at least expressed it to me. Maybe the other guys did want to fight as much. You know, I know Edgar Barbry's always down. I know Denis Kovalev's always down. I know all these kids, they're always down, you know. All the kids from CMMA who, congratulations, they won the Lions Cup. You know, all those kids wanted to fight. That kid, Christian Tobias, wanted to fight. I mean, all these kids wanted to fight. But nobody was expressing the desire to me the way Khosrow did. I put him in there as the main event, and man, he lived up to it. He was doing spinning techniques, and I mean, he looked like a veteran in there. He looked like he's been fighting his entire life, and he has been training a long time. But he really like put it together in that main event. He got the win, which again I don't really care for, but I mean, he just looked spectacular doing it. I mean, yes or no, he looked like a main event.
I agree. Yeah, those spinning kicks he was throwing.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I was
You put on a show.
From? Yeah, he put on a show, and you know, and he's not hitting you. You know, he's not in there being pretty. He's trying to knock you out. I mean, all those punches he was throwing were vicious. So, and then we had, you know, Edgar Barbary. I mean, you saw what he did.
Yeah,
I mean,
who won KO of the night and who won performance?
Okay. So you know, we got we typically do fight of the night and we do KO of the night. Fight of the night for me was Silva and Kovalev, because when I made that fight, there was all kinds of talk for one side, all kinds of talk for another side.
Oh,
Some
really?
people thought it was not an even fight. I thought
afterwards.
Well, no, before. So I thought it was going to be an even fight. That's why I made the fight. Because I know that, you know, Silva's probably more technical because of his background. But I thought, man, Kovalev has balls of steel. And he's not gonna back down from anybody. And he showed that in there. He was like, come on. So I knew that would be a good fight. I thought it was razor thin, close decision. I thought that was an awesome fight. And it wasn't like tremendous, you know, brawling action, but it was a close fight. So I would give them fight of the night. Are we running out of time?
No.
Okay, good. So I'd give them fight of the night because I thought it was so close and it was a split decision. And it was basically Kovalev's toughness and also his punching power and kicking versus Silva's like length and technique. And it was like, oh, who's gonna go first? You know, who's gonna do the next move? It's like watching a chess match in fast motion. And then knockout of the night, you got to give that to Edgar Barbary. That body work he was doing in there, man. I told him they got to call you body bags after that. That was sick. And that slow-mo footage you got, Ivan, of Barbary going to the body, that was sick on our Instagram. That hilarious comment that Barbary made about these hands are rated E for everybody. It's my favorite comment. Performance of the night, I gotta go with Khosrow Sadarov. I got to. He looked amazing. But other kids that looked amazing, David Secaida, Jose Orellana, Shane Collins, Jonathan Montoya. And Sammy Caceres. They look good, man. And that was Sammy's first fight. Shane and Sammy are 19 years old doing what they did in there, you know?
And these guys are repping CMMI.
They were repping CMMI.
right?
Jose Orellana with Systems Training Center. Jonathan Montoya with Champions BJJ. And David Sakai'da looked like a problem. David Sakai'da is a problem. And he fought a very tough Angel Naranjo from Aidson's Muay Thai, who's also, Angel's a bad boy. Angel had less experience than David. It's the experience that won David that fight, but Angel's a bad boy, and he's going to be up there. He's going to be up there too. So I mean, all these kids are excellent, man. But if I got to pick one guy, performance of the night, it's got to be Jos.
The boss.
Jos the boss. Jos Rav Sadarak. Yep. Who'd you think was the best?
Performance-wise?
Yeah.
I'd have to agree.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, he put on a show in simple words.
Well, you better agree.
Have his people after me, right?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'd have to agree. He put on a show. That's, at the end of the day, these fighters are there to showcase their skills, but at the end of the day, they're there to put on a show for the fans.
Yeah. Who'd you have as performance of the night? Or knockout of the night?
Oh, come on. I have to agree with him.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then fight of the night. You don't have to agree with Silva Kovalev. I mean, it wasn't like an all-action brawl, but I just thought it was like there was so much suspense.
Yeah. That was a very good fight.
With Anderson Silva screaming the whole time.
That added to the
To the
excitement,
drama,
to the drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know anything. I didn't know what he was saying, but I know he was telling him what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's tricky in those situations when it comes to fighting. Well, for Gabriel, because who does he listen to? Dima or his dad?
Oh. And Christos was there too, right? Giagos?
I'm not.
The UFC
I'm not
fighter.
Sure.
Yeah, he was there.
I didn't see.
He was there in the corner. He's a UFC fighter, and he's there in the corner. He fights out of Systems. So another, pretty cool person to have at the show. Another UFC fighter.
Yeah.
But so you thought Silva and
No, I thought that was a great fight, but I'd probably have to give it to. I really liked Jose Orellana.
That was a good fight. And
Lamb, yeah.
That was a good fight.
I thought it was really technical. I'm a sucker for a technical fight.
But they slugged it out at times too.
Yeah?
They were slugging
But I
each other.
thought it wasn't wild punches or anything. It was all crisp technique.
It was good. That was a good fight. I think that was the most action-packed fight, But I thought, Kovalev Silva was like just everything, between the screaming from his dad telling him what to do and, just who's going to win. And half the people had one guy winning, half had the other winning. It was, it was the most dramatic.
Yeah.
So I'm a sucker for the drama.
All right, George.
Man, yeah.
Any other words you'd like to say?
Thank you to everyone that came out. Thank you to the teams that came out. Thank you to the staff. Thank you to Ivan for this interview and for everything you do on the Instagram and everything else for us. On the gram, as the kids say. Fightersrep 9. December 21st. Pro-Am Kickboxing. The only unified rules kickboxing promotion in the state of California. The most populous state in the United States. The mecca of combat sports. It's going to be incredible. So tune in, you guys. We're going to have some sick talent from the best gyms. The best gyms, man. Systems. Hopefully, we'll have Saxon and CMMA and Black House MMA, and King's MMA and all these schools. So it's going to be fire. Be there.
Or be square.
That's right.
Appreciate your time, George.
For sure.
Peace.
Click the link below for your official Fighters Rep merchandise. and join Knucklehead Nation.